Hello, everyone. You're listening to the I Go with Ego podcast, bringing you guests with first-hand experience in studying abroad and seizing personalities excelling in the workforce. Now presenting your host, Ego Kelly Ikakite.
Welcome to another episode of the Go with Ego podcast. And happy new month to everyone. It's the month of March. Welcome to March. It happens to be the Women's Month of celebration in women's history. I would like to celebrate all our wonderful mothers and our wonderful women out there. I hope you all have a wonderful celebration. And please don't forget to follow us on all our social media handle at I Go with Ego. And if you feel inclined, to give us a 5-star rating and give us a comment, please give us a good comment and also give us a good 5-star rating and all as well as that. Well, my guest today with me is a brother. He's a friend. I call him a true legend, which is his name, True Legend. He embodies humility and grace. Mr. Neville Scott, welcome to the Go with Ego podcast. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm so nice. I'm so glad to be here. You know what? I consider it the utmost privilege really of my this phase of my lifetime of my life to be invited as a guest on this on this show. I've been on this podcast. I've been a huge fan. I've been following through since its last since it first began, and just seeing a lot of students, international students, documenting their stories, encouraging other international students or students willing to become international students. It's really it's amazing. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It means a lot coming from you. So beginner, what was the first thing you ate when you arrived in America?
Dude, that's a funny story. That's a funny story, right? So I didn't, I flew in with the British Airways, right?
Okay.
And so we landed, I think, at Newark, and then I had to catch a flight to Dallas. And so because of the food that I think I ate in the connecting flight, my tummy was really in a mess. But then once I got to DFW, I was able to get an opportunity to clear up my stomach. And so I was picked up by my cousins, right? Okay. So it's like, okay, so this is the thing. It's my first time in America. Sure, you guys have to take me to the very best eatery places, fast food places. So we kind of did this trip where I visited Chick-fil-A, Whataburger, Jack in the Box, and McDonald's on the same day, just something a bit.
That's a lot. That's a lot of junk, but it's good.
Everything is big in Texas. Everything has to be a lot in Texas. So being, just coming to Dallas is like, hey man, I have to embody the Texan spirit immediately.
Right.
That's kind of yeah.
That is a good one. Honestly, I think the first thing I had when I came myself was McDonald's.
McDonald's.
That was the first thing I had when I came.
Yeah.
I think I had the number 9, the 2 cheeseburger. I can't remember vividly. That was what I could afford the first day I came. Anyway.
Wow, and you take a bite and you're like, America.
Right. Well, Mr. Neville, welcome to the show again. My audience would like to get to know you. So tell us something about you.
Yes. Something about me. I normally have a moment of, reflection when I'm asked to share a thing about me, because I think I'm still very young and I'm growing. And so it's funny that, the last time someone asked me to respond to this question, my response would be similar to what it is today. And I think that is a very, that inspires me to keep growing. But if I was to share really just in a snapshot, I am an international student born in Kenya. I am passionate about a lot of things, music included, people included, just inspire and just to inspire the people that we interact with. I believe every single person has a shine. I believe every single person has a shine, and they need to share this shine, and so every single thing that I do, I hope that first of all, God is glorified, because I'm also a Christian, and Secondly, I hope that someone is inspired by, okay, whatever words I speak, or whatever actions I partake in, whatever events I orchestrate, whatever music I compose. I hope that all this stuff is going to inspire someone to try better, to do better, and just to be themselves. And so, yeah, I think that in a snapshot is kind of a summary of the person that I am. But all in all, I am just really products of grace, blessed by grace, and I hope that does it justice.
Well, that's good to hear. Being a product of grace is important. And
Absolutely.
I'm glad that grace shines on you so much every single day.
Thank you very much.
I would just say this: Neville is one of the best, magnificent player of the keyboard I've seen.
Thank you very much.
So good
Thank
in keyboard. The first day I heard him play, I'm like, come on, God, where's my gift? Where is my gift? Where is my gift?
Thank
But
you.
he plays the keyboard so well, and I look forward to seeing you play again.
And you are the most charismatic individuals I've ever met.
Thank you. I
So
try.
that's a gift right there.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All
you.
right. So I know everyone would like to know what your story and what your journey to America was like. So could you tell us your journey to America? How was it for you, and why did you come to choose America in the first place?
Absolutely. Mine is really a funny story because I think I normally come across a lot of international students and they tell me when they narrate their stories, it's like, hey, this was something that I had been planning for years and years and years. And I think I've met students who went to, the consulate once, twice, and thrice, and the applications were rejected, right? But they kept trying and trying and trying again. And it's funny because that is not my story, right? So I moved to the United States in January of 2018, but in January of 2017, it never even crossed my mind that at such a time next year you'd be in the United States, right? Because I was a student at this other institution. I was comfortable, I was living the life. I had a lot of friends. I was surrounded with my family, and I was a musician, right? So I had every single thing I ever needed, right? And then so I think around June of that same year, I contracted an illness, right? And so my chest and a lot of organs and organs related to my chest and my chest activities. So the liver, the diaphragm, and some of the stuff that I can't really recall, they were badly damaged, and so I had to be taken in to the hospital for an extended period of time, and that's around June of 2017, right? And I think I was away from school. I could not attend school for a while. And so I was a part of this cohort of students who joined, who are pursuing a bachelor's of science in civil engineering, and they joined that institution in 2016. And so in 2017, I believed I'd be able to proceed with them. Then so I come, I'm discharged from the hospital. I try to go back to school, and they're like, there was some very crucial examinations and just some very crucial lessons that you're not able to attend, right? So you have to retake these tests, right? And I wasn't really in a place where I wanted to do that because I didn't feel prepared enough. And so I think that really, the organizational structure at that institution didn't allow me to re-enter after my recuperation, right? After my recuperating from this illness, right? And then so I went home and I had this conversation with my dad, and it was like, I don't think I want to retake an entire class. I don't think I want to rejoin this institution. So my dad, fortunately, right, at that time, my dad and my mom, they came to the United States to attend a cousin's wedding. And they're like, wow, how you even thought of studying in the United States? Your uncle lives in Dallas. Maybe that's something that you should start looking into. I was like, wow, so that's a possibility. Yeah, so in June of 2017, that's when we started really looking into, okay, so what does studying abroad look like? Okay, what do I need to do? Okay, I need to apply to this school. Okay, we have a contact from such and such a college. Okay, they're going to send the I-20 and you're going to present that before. No, they're going to send the service stuff, right? I think that's That's what it is. They're going to send the service ID. I'm going to try to use that to get my, to get to the consulate. And then they're going to send me an I-20. And all that process really was very accelerated in that. By God's grace, I just had to go there, to the embassy once and to explain to them my situation and my difficulties trying to re-enter my, initial university. And they were just God was graceful in that day. And I think my story is really one of those testimonies where I'm like, okay, in less than 5 months, everything was in place. And every single thing was in place. And in January of the next year, I was a student at Mountain View. So it's really just one of those stories. And yeah, that's how I came to study abroad.
Well, that's a very great story.
Thank you very much.
I had no idea you were sick all through much of 2017. I had no idea.
Yeah.
But it's refreshing to know that you got yourself back.
Yeah.
You got standing again.
Yeah.
And you kept moving, and that's the most important. So that whenever life throws in one or two crazy challenges, it's up to us to keep moving, keep standing, keep believing, keep trusting.
Absolutely.
And the word I use is hashtag we don't stop.
We don't stop.
We don't stop.
Wow,
And
awesome.
that's the good part. All right. I know for anyone that wants to come, let's say from Kenya or let's say from UK to come study in America, what's the application and the visa process like for them to know?
Well, I think it's a very standard. I think it's a very standard process all through across. You have to log on to the American Embassy portal in your country, right? And then you need to go to that section where you are applying to study abroad. I think it's the F1 visa. That's what you are applying for the F1 visa. And then they normally ask if you have already received a scholarship or been contacted by an institution of some sort that you hope to attend, right? And so if you haven't received a scholarship, they will ask you to prove that you can actually take care of yourself, that your parents or a sponsor is actually going to be able to take care of you, because they don't want you to come to the United States and then you burden the government by seeking a lot of assistance, which is interesting. Anyway, yeah. So after that, your institution, for example, will have to send you a service ID, and I think you pay $200 for that, right?
I think it's now $300.
Wow, they
were increasing.
Yeah, during our time it was 200, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so they send you the you pay the $200 and then they send you the service ID. So the service ID, it's a number, it's a unique number that is kind of spare. Student exchange visa, blah, blah, blah. I think that's what it stands for. And it's a special number that kind of relates to you, it identifies you. And so once you have that number, you use that to finalize your application, and then they are going to ask you to select a date with which you can appear at the consulate. And yeah, that's where it gets interesting, because at the consulate, I think I understand that many times people get there and they don't try to be themselves. They try to sell a different version of them to whoever's in charge. And that is very, very wrong, because I think I know a story of a certain guy who was like, well, you know what, trying to really sell this other, this, what do we call it? Trying to be American, or trying to prove to those people that I can actually be American, So changing how you speak, changing how you dress to impress. And that is not okay. So when you present yourself before the consulate, just be you, just believe in yourself and just present yourself as you. And I think that is what's most important. Yeah.
I agree. No, it's good that you be yourself. I remember that I just wore a shirt and a trouser and a shoe and just went there, and he asked me all kinds of questions and I just gave him the honest answer.
Yeah, don't try to impress them. Just be honest and be truthful.
There's no way I can change my accent, so why?
Yeah, what up, man?
I can do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So yeah, just be yourself, and it always helps. Now, the question I keep having from people keep asking me after, when I
Yes.
interact with them is, they want us to tell them
Mhm.
how life in America is. Is it easy like people portray it, or is it difficult, or what should they know the truth about life living in America as an international student?
America is not a bed of roses.
At all.
America is not a bed of roses, and I think it's very important that we make this clear to every single person who's thinking of applying. Everything is expensive in America, right? For example, say when I was before moving over here, I was living. I had my parents around and they provided for me, so I was comfortable. But now coming to the United States, rent is expensive. Like in Texas, I think a standard one-bedroom apartment that's not even that good. You're looking at paying something about something in the range of 800 to 1,600, and that is it. And you can bargain that, and it's just not. It's never really. Let's really try to disassociate ourselves from this dysfunctional mindset that hey, it's a bed of roses, it's all going to be glum. And I say that because I've seen a lot of people coming to study abroad and forgetting what, for example, they brought them here and trying to make money. America, there's a lot of opportunities for you to make money, right? But then at the same time, if you came out as a student, once if you're faithful enough to finish through the course of your studies, then you're going to position yourself in a very much better position, which will enable you to get more and more and more and more money than just working with Amazon. So my thing is, just have the understanding that okay, it's not a bed of roses, but I think something about your ego that I really appreciate is that you never give up. You understand what it is that you want, and you understand that to get from point A to B, to get to your dreams, to get to achieve your goals, you have to put in some effort, right? And very many times it's a lot, right? But then just not giving up. And now I see you, and I see you with United Nations, and I see you with this and that and that, and it never gets easier, but at least the fruits of your hard work start paying off.
Absolutely.
And before you realize it, at least in as much as you are an international student, you're able to get a couple of scholarships, to get a couple of living opportunities, to get a couple of friends, to get a couple of people who believe in you, who are willing to support you through the course. But I think it's never really easy. It's never it can be tough.
Yeah, is it better than where we're coming from? Most times, absolutely yes.
Absolutely yes.
Absolutely yes.
Absolutely yes.
But the truth is, it's not easy here.
It's not.
There's so many glass ceilings you have to break.
Yes.
When you come here.
Yes.
Because the law itself, it's very stringent on things we can do and where we can work, and the length of time we can work in terms of making money.
Yes.
So the glass ceilings are many, but with determination, with the never giving up spirit, with the
never giving up,
you have to find the possibilities where if most impossibilities seem to be the forefront, facing you. You have to be double smart than the normal student. What's double smart?
That's true.
Than the normal student. You have to look for those opportunities where you can have scholarships and all that.
Yes.
That is the only reason why I was able to survive America, looking for those scholarships where they were covered with black cloth. I found them and I brought them out for my own self, because I knew that's the only way I could stay in America and be something for myself.
And I also think it's very important for, as an international student, to understand that, okay, they are not better than you.
Nope.
And there's going to be moments where you feel like that's the case. Well, for example, the way people talk to you, they're like, we're definitely so much better than you. It's very much important to have that mindset that no one is going to define the quality of a person that you are, because that's can mess up with your mental health, and that can mess up with your desire to go after things, because no, but I'm running against such and such people. No, they're not better than you. You are what enough, and then you have what it takes. So just go after what it is that you want, understanding that, hey, I have what it takes.
Absolutely. Well, you've heard my friend, Mr. Scott, Mr. Neville. Sorry, I recall Neville. I feel like Scott's the last name. So, Mr. Neville, you've heard Mr.
Yeah.
Neville. We'll go on a short break now. When we come back from the short break, Neville will tell us about his experience in Mountain View College. He'll tell us his
Absolutely.
experience in Phi Theta Kappa and all the wonderful leadership position is held. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Welcome back from the short break. I still have my good friend here, Mr. Neville. He has told us
Thank you very
much about
much.
himself and told us much about his experience and how he came to America, and of course the food he ate when he came to America the first time. Anyways, would like to know now your experience in the college you came to first. I think it's the Mountain View College. So how's life in Mountain View College, and why did you choose to attend the community college in the first place?
Mountain View College, really, Mountain View College. I think whenever I speak of Mountain View College, I speak with so much joy, uh, with so much reverence, right? Because I remember the very first time when I went to Mountain View College, I was not very much, I wasn't, I wasn't excited, because I was like, it's a small school. I'm sorry, someone is this.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
please.
I'm sorry.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back from the short break. I still have my friend here, Mr. Neville. He told us about the way he came to America. And of course, he told us about the food he ate first when he came to America. And of course, how he applied and the visa process was for him. All right, Mr. Neville, life in Mountain View College. I know it's the first college you went to when you came here.
Yes.
How was life in Mountain View College for you? And why did you choose to attend the community college in the first place?
Wow, wow. So I think as I told you before, my parents came over, and my uncle actually lives in Dallas, and the college right next to, where he stays was Mountain View College. And then so that was kind of a default thing that just happened.
Mhm.
So, when I got to Mountain View College, I was not as excited, because I was like, it's not big. And, I was coming from yet another university,
Yeah.
right? And it's funny because, like, since then and up to this moment, my attitude towards Mountain View College made a complete turnaround. And I'm at a place where every single time I speak about Mountain View College, I do it with so much joy, so much reverence, so much nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember walking into that college as a very shy kid, could not express myself well enough. I wasn't bold. I was definitely a work in progress.
Yeah.
I, 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 I was a work in progress, but just attending that school exposed me to a lot of people who are passionate about student success, from the college president, and down, if we were to really organize this hierarchically, down to the janitorial support staff. It's funny that every single faculty member, every single staff member, every single person employed under that system, Mountain View College, is passionate about one thing: encouraging students to become the very best versions of themselves. And just by virtue of my attending Mountain View College, I graduated last year in June, right during the pandemic. And I recall issuing the commencement speech, and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
how things change, how things change. The one place that I was like, it's tiny, is the one place that holds, the largest, that has contributed significantly to my becoming me. And I love it. I just love the school. I really do.
That's great.
Yes.
Even me, when I walked into OTC the first time, small college, wasn't impressed. So everybody, it was so white. I saw only one black lady from Uganda, Priscilla. And I'm like, okay, where am I now? It's- and
Yeah,
not knowing that the end will be great.
absolutely.
and that's
Wow.
why we don't know what the future holds. We just have to
Yeah.
have an open mind to things and
Yeah.
expect the best from whatever.
And I think it reminds me about, the fact that you should never judge a book by its cover, never judge a person based on how they look, never judge anything based on the outward appearance, because these things, they have the capacity to position you for the greatest things ever, right? But then you have to put yourself in a position where you're willing to be impacted by something that does not look as beautiful as you'd love for it to look, by someone who does not, belong to a certain race, which you've been taught to perceive as superior, right? By a thing that does not just have the looks, because it's going to challenge you and it's going to definitely make you better.
I agree. Now, we know that when choosing a major, it is a make or break time for one, So why did you choose the major you chose, and how will your major facilitate your choice of either staying back in the US or hopefully one day going back home and making a difference?
And so when you talk about Kenya, right?
Kenya,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow. So I'm a civil engineering major, and in addition to that, I'm also a computer science major. And very many times people ask me, "Hey, that's a weird. We don't see a connection," and I'm like, "That's the point. There isn't, right?" And so we are walking into the future where we see a lot of explorations in the technical sector, right? And so we see that with the establishments of cars such as Tesla, right? And modular buildings and this technology and iPhone. And I'm thinking that, okay, infrastructure has to evolve, right? And how will that happen? That will happen through the merger of physical and digital infrastructure. And now at the moment, this newcomer to the world of infrastructure, it's referred to as smart infrastructure, where it's the continuous interaction of aspects of physical and digital infrastructure. And I feel like that is the future, right? So based on my explanation, I think some of our African countries still have a long way to go before we get the the infrastructure necessary for this kind of smart infrastructure. For example, when you talk about autonomy, for example, Teslas that drive themselves, right? How does that look in an African setting? It's a bit interesting, right? Because of lots of pedestrians and the possibility of, lots of casualties and the way the roads are set up. But I'm very much confident that the future indeed, in as much as we still have a long way to go, the future indeed looks bright. And with people such as you and myself, I believe, seeking this intellectual opportunities, seeking to come to study abroad, to broaden our intellectual horizons, that one day we should have the capacity to go back home and tell them, hey, so he's something that we can do. He's something that we saw, happening in the United States. And we'd love to bring that home. Yeah.
I agree. What advice would you give prospective students who want to study in higher institution? What advice would you give them in terms of choosing a major?
You know what? Close your eyes. Really, like I just ask them to really visualize the perfect world.
Yeah.
To meet all these voices about, hey, and no offense, but what the society tells you, what your parents tell you, what your friends do, and what the richest guy down the street does. Forget about that stuff. It's not the stuff that you're passionate about. Close your eyes and visualize your perfect, your quality world. The world that you think is ideal for you. What does it look like? What does it look like? Does it look like you being a nurse assisting kids down, from that orphanage? Then that is it. Make that your career. Does it look like, hey, you holding a microphone, singing on stage? Make that your career. Does it look like you playing piano, which is something I'm also passionate about? Make that your career. And someone might want to ask me, okay, I'm passionate about music, but I'm seeking this other, stuff in science. Am I, am is that am I contradicting myself?
Mhm.
And my response would be, I'm not, right? Because I believe that every single week I find myself an opportunity to go out there and make a career out of my music, right? So in as much as I'll be in school from Monday to Friday, hoping to, make something out of the other stuff that I'm passionate about, I also believe that we do not have to limit ourselves. And you as our host, I know you do a lot of stuff with United Nations and with the podcast and stuff. You have to bring yourself to a place where you're chasing your passion or your passions, every single thing that you're passionate about, and not letting anyone dictate to you that this is what's possible and this is what's not possible.
Absolutely. I quite and wholly agree. I also tell people when you come to higher institution, like community college or university for the first year, it's okay not to know what you want to do.
Absolutely.
When you take
Yeah.
the classes, the science classes, the art classes, then you need to see what you think is good for you. Like me, I switched from science to arts. Always loved arts, but of course, my parents wanted me to do science. I came to America, went to do nursing. It didn't
You
work
have
out.
to be a doctor.
Doctor, nurse, and all that. I had to switch straight up to what I knew was
Yeah.
comfortable for me, what I enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
And so when you come, it's okay not to know, but as you go in classes, they will absolutely know what they want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's true. Wow.
So if you all don't know, me and Mr. Neville, we met at through Phi Theta Kappa.
Phi
Okay.
Theta Kappa,
Now,
yes.
Mr. Neville has a vast leadership experience, not just in PTK,
Yes.
but in
Yes.
other organizations and institutions he found himself. So, can you tell my audience about these experiences, especially with Phi Theta Kappa?
Phi Theta Kappa, I'd love to take us back to when I was talking about Mountain View College. So I got to Mountain View College, and it's one fine Saturday, morning in February. I'm at school to utilize the Wi-Fi, and so as I'm walking around, I come across some students, and I'm like, weird. Students studying on Saturday. That's weird. So I walk up to them and I engage them in a conversation, right? Hebert Bibang and Liliana Gonzalez, beautiful people, excellent people, some of my very best friends to date. And so I talk to them and they tell me about, hey, and my question was, yeah, so I'm not really sure about staying at Mountain View College. I'm looking for scholarships. I'm trying to get to, the school, right? And they're like, well, yeah, we'll take you, we'll tell you about Phi Theta Kappa. It's an international honor society, blah, blah, blah. And then on Monday, we convened together. We reconvened right at that spot. And they were like, hey, let's take you to our advisor, right? And so his name is Darius Fraser, an excellent man that I greatly respect, an excellent
I
man who
can say the same of him too. I met him, a wonderful person, I'll tell you.
he's touched so many lives. I don't
Absolutely.
know how he does that. He's just touched like every single thing he touches turns into gold, right? Literally. So I met this guy and he just dropped the idea. He was like, hey, I think you'd be a perfect fit for an international officer of Phi Theta Kappa. And I didn't know what that looked like at that time. And so came April, and I went to Catalyst in Kansas City, which I think is where I met you, right?
Yes.
I think you guys were hosting.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is incredible. Wait. So those are international officers up there? Wait, so you actually meant that I can get up there? And as I told you, I needed to grow some more my leadership. I was a leader in theory, but not in practice. And so some of these things had to be forced out of me. And so between 2018 and 2019, there was just a lot of growth. There was just a lot of, these mentors, these leaders from Mountain View College imparting me with wisdom, encouraging me to just try to constantly better my best and to try not to get complacent, to try not to get too comfortable. And I remember every single night just, go stand before the mirror and just try to speak, ladies and gentlemen, blah, 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 trying to familiarize myself with that, trying to visualize it, trying to pray about it. And so in 2019, in 2018, I served as, the VP of leadership for my chapter. And in addition to other positions, for example, I was a student ambassador at my school. I was a youth leader at my church. And so all these leadership positions gave me an opportunity to grow. So come 2019 in April, or in the beginning of 2019, I was very confident in that, okay, I'm going to run. And if I don't win, well and good. At least it gave me an opportunity to grow, to better my best, which is really my motto, constantly better your best. And so in 2019, the April of 2019, I ran. I ran to serve as the international vice president of Division 2. I ran alongside Eagle, who also ran our quintessential campaign, but he was running for something else. So yeah, I was able to run a successful campaign. In addition to that, other candidates such as Ego and some other candidates, they deemed me a perfect fit for the Orlowski Candidates Award, which is literally an award presented to the candidate who best exemplifies the values of Phi Theta Kappa, which is leadership, scholarship, service, and hallmarks. Yeah, so it has been an excellent journey. And since then, just serving as an international officer exposed me to a lot of opportunities. I saw myself, visiting, meeting governors and senators and meeting just these people and being able to talk to them. I was able to, and Phi Theta Kappa, the management, the leadership of Phi Theta Kappa, Dr. Lynn Tinchaladna and her team. It's a group of excellent people who, again, are just so very passionate about student success. They take you just as you are, and they give you lots of opportunities, and they encourage you to grow, and they provide you with a lot of resources. And as much as my term elapsed last year in April, I am still at a place where every single place when I introduce myself as a previous international officer, there's an immediate change of atmosphere, change of perception. And it has given me an opportunity to do a lot of other things that might not necessarily be related to my term as an international officer, but then it's just a lot of things that I'll forever be grateful for. Yeah.
Absolutely. I tell everyone I owe so much to PTK.
Yes.
I owe
Yes.
everything I have now to PTK.
Absolutely.
I did not win. I didn't run a successful campaign like you all, but we ran a healthy campaign, a campaign with
Yes.
love and, with PTK's best interest at the back of our hearts, and our
Absolutely.
minds, and our heads. So when my rival won, I was very happy for him and all that. But I owe everything to PTK, because now the school I'm in, Webster University, I'm not paying for school.
Absolutely.
Almost $16,000 every semester.
That is
I
true.
wonder where I would have seen that money to pay in the first place.
Hey.
But
Yeah.
PTK made it possible. And that's why I tell people, if you're an international student coming to a community college, you have to embrace PTK. It's not so hard. Get a 2.5 the first semester, 2 A's, 1 B, 2 B's, 1 A, gets you into PTK the very first semester you come to school.
Wow.
Do all you can to join, because that will be a stepping stone for you to begin to go into greatness. And of course, we all, even me personally, I owe all my thanks to Dr. Lynn. She's the best.
She's awesome. Dr. Lynn, Susan Skaggs,
so many.
Dr. Blake. And it's funny that, we talk so much about opportunities, especially for financial assistance. And I think the most incredible bit of that is the relationships.
Absolutely.
Right? Like sitting right here with you, courtesy of PTK, because I think we live in very different states, and just meeting my friends, the people whom I love the most. I know them because of PTK, and my advisors, my mentors, the people who call me out constantly, the people who grant me opportunities, they are all from PTK. A joke is told of this one time where someone was stranded by the side of the road, right? And they were trying to they had a puncture, right? And they were trying to get that situation sorted out. And out of, they had these stickers at the rear end of their vehicle, right? With the Greek letters of Phi Theta Kappa. And out of nowhere came a truck with, out in the wilderness, just here in, I think, Alaska. And out of nowhere came a truck. And the occupant of the truck was like, "That's a Phi Theta Kappa, and that's my brother." And he was able to help her out. And I'm like, wow, such relationships are made possible by Phi Theta Kappa. So again, if you are an international student in a community college, if you haven't joined Phi Theta Kappa, I don't know what you're waiting for.
You have to. Yeah, absolutely. They have to. So what would you tell anyone who wants to follow the same footstep Mr. Neville Scott has followed to come to America to be the best of you? What would you tell them?
Wow, that's a very good question. How they respond to that? Success takes very different shapes, forms, and sizes. And I would love to encourage you to run after success without stopping, run as fast as you can. If success is what you're chasing after. But at the same time, I think I have to be very cautious to advise you not to do stuff or not to do anything because Neville or ego or such and such a person did it. I think I initially started by saying, hey, we all have a shine that is very present in us, right? We all have something, some uniqueness in us. And I feel like, by just the way that I, get to success does not necessarily have to be the way that you have to use. And so I think my encouragement to most people is that, hey, don't try to be like me. Don't try to be like ego. We are already taken, find the person that you really are. Look at your reflection in the mirror and just, ensure the mirror is clean and it's going to portray to you a reflection that's actually clean. Be that person. I don't know what that's going to look like. To some, it's going to look like applying and joining community college tomorrow, right? To others, it's going to look like, hey, joining the workforce, right? Or becoming a career tech student. To others, it's going to look like, hey, buying your instrument and practicing constantly and constantly. To others, it's going to look like joining politics. But every single thing that you do, don't do it because, Barack Obama was a great politician or Ego was a great podcast host or Neville was an okay pianist. But do it
best of the best.
Because it's what makes you happy. It's what
absolutely.
And if you focus on that, then you'll never feel like you're struggling any single day, even when the going gets tough, because the going will definitely get tough. The going will definitely get tough.
Yeah. So you remember I called him the true legend at the beginning of our conversation, even before we started in the introduction. So I know you are a true legend because you have a concept of sharing your shine.
Yes.
You want to tell my audience about what you've been up to all this while? About share your
wow. Spotlight. Thank you very much. Since Phi Theta Kappa, again, I don't take any credit for a lot of the good things that have been coming my way. I attribute them first of all to God Almighty and to the wonderful relationships that I was able to establish by virtue of my involvement in Phi Theta Kappa, my involvement at Mountain View College, my involvement at church, and that other stuff. And so a lot of things have been just, working out for good. I was a commencement speaker. Immediately after that, I used to join South SMU, but I decided to maybe hold on to that because I needed to OPT, right? I decided to take some OPT time, which for anyone willing to apply, it's a period of time after graduation given to you to seek some work opportunity, some work experience. And so with that, I was able to serve as an IT technician for ICOPS is an international it's a company that deals with the computers, right? Networking and stuff, networking and security operations for computers. And after that, I joined the Porch, which is the largest young adult ministry, as a youth leader, one of the youth leaders, which is an excellent opportunity. I serve at, as a music director at a mega church right here in Dallas. I am a junior civil engineer, right? Which I get the opportunity of working with the best engineers in Dallas. And at the moment we are building homes for seniors, right? And it's wonderful. It's such a wonderful opportunity, just working with these people, just really seeing that indeed everything is possible with those who believe. And it has been wonderful, man. I could talk on, I could go on and on and on talking about other stuff. But yeah, indeed, it's been a wonderful journey. And I'm also currently in the initial stages of curating something that I hope to do with my friends, Shining the Light, which just encourages millennials to find hope in the correct places. Because it's easy to find that hope in drugs, in relationships, and in other stuff, as opposed to yourself. And just learning that you have a shine and learning to share that shine is what I'm currently working on. But yeah, all in all, everything has been so good, so beautiful. Yeah,
that is good to hear. So to end on a light note, if you could swim with dolphins,
yes,
or go skydiving, which would you pick?
I think it would depend on the day.
Okay.
Like that. There are some days when I really feel sentimental and stuff,
Okay.
all feely and stuff, right?
Okay.
I think on such a day such as today, I'm feeling so sentimental. Then I think I'd want to swim around with the dolphins, because dolphins are darlings, right? That are essentially sentimental animals. But on a day such as sometimes when I just want to, just explored, then I think I'd go skydiving to let loose some of that some of that tight feelings. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, you've heard from my friend Mr. Neville Scott. He's the complete person to have a show at this moment. You all the gems you need, to keep moving in life, and that's why I brought in him. Mr. Neville, thank you so much for coming today. Thank you so much.
You know what? I think I have to just appreciate you for putting this together, and I have to appreciate you for just being very consistent. And most importantly, I have to appreciate you for, having the heart to create something that might not be as beneficial to you as it should be to someone out there. Absolutely. And I think when I look at this, I go with ego. I think that's really what strikes me. You are already an international student. You have a vast leadership experience, and you have an excellent resume. It's not going to benefit you as much as it's going to benefit, a random kid in Nigeria, in Kenya, in Ukraine, who thinks, who goes to bed dreaming about that American dream, dreaming about that American college experience. And so thank you very much for, putting this together. I really appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us today. Please don't forget, the COVID is still out there. Please wear your mask, social distance, and if it gets to your turn to get the vaccine, please get the vaccine. And I wish you all the best.
You haven't caught COVID yet?
No, I'm not.
Oh, wow.
I try to keep safe. So I try
lucky. Oh, yeah.
I've been indoors. I didn't go out. So I'm indoors. Well, thank you all. We'll talk to you all soon. Have a good one.
Absolutely.